Hello, and welcome to my presentation. My name is Tanner Randall, and today I'm going to be discussing the balanced scorecard and why we should implement it into our firm. We're going to look at what a balanced scorecard is, some advantages and disadvantages, an example template that will give the audience a visual of what a generic balanced scorecard looks like, talk about a success story in ShatterShield, some facts and statistics, and then wrap things up after that. So what is a balanced scorecard? It is a management system that has the strategic goals in mind for the firm, and it helps the firms focus on the right things to reach these goals. And with this, it involves 4 perspectives: financial, customer, internal business processes, and learning and growing. Financial is a major focus of the balanced scorecard. It looks at the key financial indicators or ratios needed in order for a firm to reach their strategic goals. Customer focuses on the people that buy the product or service. Are we getting new customers? Are we retaining or keeping existing customers? And are these customers satisfied? Internal business processes looks at how smooth our business is running. We want to look at efficiency and how we can improve that, and kind of look at what we should be best at. Lastly, learning and growth. It looks at our overall corporate culture, and technology plays a major role in this. What are we doing to stay ahead of our competition? When the balanced scorecard was initially introduced, it was thought that these 4 perspectives worked independently and didn't have any involvement with each other at all. But today that has changed and kind of done a 180. Today it's really believed that these affect each other in various ways, and that the balanced scorecard is now set up to show how these perspectives actually build on one another, and we will see that in the example template. Some advantages of the balanced scorecard. Research shows that organizations that use the balanced scorecard outperform organizations that do not have a formal approach to performance management. So some advantages here are that there is better strategic planning. The balanced scorecard lays out what's called a strategy map, and it's basically a framework for building communication strategies. And this forces managers to think cause-effect relationships, and the mere creation of this strategy map ensures collaboration to setting the objectives within the company. Improved strategy communication. It's laid out on paper, so it allows companies to easily communicate the strategy to their employers, so everybody's on the same page. Better management information. This is designed to have key performance indicators for objectives so that managers know exactly where they stand. That information is given directly to management. And it also ensures that companies are measuring what matters. Improved performance reporting helps firms determine what to report, and the strategy map template provides a powerful visualization of that performance. With anything, there are disadvantages, so we'll take a look at these three disadvantages to using this balanced scorecard. The first is cost and time. It can be very costly and time-consuming to use the balanced scorecard, and companies who advocate for the use of the balanced scorecard do talk about the cost and time consumption that is involved with it. So to use it, it requires a thorough understanding of the process, and sometimes that means outside consultants. Sometimes that means some rigorous training for employees, and that's where kind of that cost and time becomes a factor. Incomplete information. It's dependent on the value of the information driving the process. So something I like to say is, if trash is coming in, trash is going out. So we want to make sure that we're fully committed to the balanced scorecard and the information that we're giving it, because it is very valuable that the information that we're giving is valuable to us, and because it is the driving the process of this whole thing. It'll only work if the right elements have been selected. Lastly, employee resistance. With everything, not all are believers. If implementation requires employees to go through some rigorous training activities, we may see some pushback. Firms must have everyone on board before implementing, so that once we do implement the balanced scorecard, we're not seeing the pushback after and then might have to pull back on that as well. So here's an example of a generic version of the balanced scorecard. So we can see that vision and strategy is in the center of this template because that is at the center of our firm, at the center of the balanced scorecard. It drives all these perspectives. But we can see here the 4 perspectives laid out and the arrows involved with them, and really see that they are interconnected. They do stack on each other. They are involved with each other. They're not independently working, which was once believed to be the case. So it's important that this is a very generic version. Every company is different. Every market situation is different. So not all balanced scorecards look like this. Shattershield is a success story involved with the balanced scorecard. So Shattershield is a protective lighting company, and they've been around for approximately 40 years. But in 2001, the CEO, Karen Ponce, she implemented a strategic plan after finding out about the balanced scorecard. She didn't know much about it, but she really was eager to implement something that was going to get everybody on board to working towards strategic objectives. She did not see very much traction with the strategic plan that she put in place. So in 2005, she attended some training at a local university, and that's when she really started the balanced scorecard process. And on top of that training at the local university, she reached out to the Balanced Scorecard Institute and spoke with Gail Perry, who is the CEO of the Institute Way, which is a published book that goes over the balanced scorecard, some success stories, how it's implemented, and basically how to get started. So she received more training on the balanced scorecard and implemented a strategic balanced scorecard in 2010. And within that year, her company netted more income than ever before. So immediately she saw success with the balanced scorecard after she had got some training. But we see here this big jump. Like I said, a disadvantage. 5 years it took her to attend training at a local university, started the process, started talking with someone at the Balanced Scorecard Institute, and then finally implemented a balanced scorecard. However, the back end of that is that within the same year, they netted the most income than ever before. So yes, it was costly and time consuming, but they did see immediate results right away. So some balanced scorecard facts and statistics. More than 50% of large enterprises use the balanced scorecard, and that's from a Cranfield University study. 80% of organizations using the balanced scorecard reported improvements in operating performance, and 65% of these reported increases in profits. It's important to know that 95% of typical workforce do not understand their organization's strategy, and 90% of organizations fail to execute their strategy successfully. So this is important to know because, as we've kind of gone over, the balanced scorecard helps with each and every one of these. The balanced scorecard helps workforce understand what the organization's strategy is and get everybody on the same page. And then ultimately it helps the organization execute the strategies that they have in place. So just to kind of wrap things up, again, cost and time are the biggest factor. We need to know that everybody's on board to implement this before we kind of get things started. Are we ready to take on the cost and time that's associated with the balanced scorecard? Effective measurement information. This is very key in once we do have the balanced scorecard started to get in place, that we do have the effective measurements and information in place. The balanced scorecard will help us give a comprehensive framework for performance and help us with performance measures. It really helps that it's grounded in organizations' strategic objectives and then ultimately helps with our competitive demands. And again, transparency is key. As I touched on before, different scorecards are for different businesses, different market scenarios, and different product strategies, along with many other things. But I do really believe that the balanced scorecard can help us take us to the next level, help everyone get on the same page, and help us reach our strategic objectives. Thank you.